What if the problem isn't your lack of discipline? For years, you've been told that if you can't focus, if you can't finish what you start, or if you waste hours doing absolutely nothing, you just lack willpower. You're lazy. You need to grind harder. But researchers in neuroscience have discovered something deeply unsettling. You aren't lazy, and you aren't broken. You are trapped. Right now, your brain is executing a perfect, millions of years old biological script designed to keep you alive. But this exact same script is silently destroying your potential. To understand why you keep sabotaging your own life, we have to look at a microscopic chemical lie you're being fed every single day. Let's see if this sounds familiar. It's 8 p.m. You finished a long day. You sit down with the intention of doing something meaningful, maybe reading a book, working on a side project, or just going to sleep early. But then, an automatic reflex takes over. Your hand reaches for your phone. You tell yourself, just 5 minutes. Suddenly, it's 11:30 p.m. You've been scrolling for 3 hours. You didn't even enjoy it. You didn't laugh. You didn't learn anything. You just consumed. And when you finally put the phone down, you don't feel rested. You feel exhausted, empty, and guilty. Why do we do this? Why do humans repeatedly engage in behaviors we know are ruining our lives, even when we don't actively enjoy them? Most people think this is a time management problem, but the real story is much deeper, and it's hiding inside a fundamental misunderstanding of how human motivation actually works. If you want to know why you feel so stuck, you have to realize that your brain isn't seeking pleasure at all. Welcome to the reality of the dopamine trap. If you ask the average person what dopamine is, they'll tell you it's the pleasure chemical. They think it's the reward you get when you eat a piece of chocolate, win a game, or get a notification. But here's the strange part. They are completely wrong. Neuroscientists have run experiments on monkeys to see exactly when dopamine is released in the brain. They trained monkeys to expect a treat after a light came on, as long as they pressed a lever. Here is what shocked the researchers. The massive spike of dopamine didn't happen when the monkey got the treat. The dopamine spiked when the light came on. Dopamine is not about pleasure. It is about anticipation. It is the molecule of craving, desire, and motivation. It's the chemical that makes you want to take action. Now, imagine what happens when this ancient survival mechanism collides with modern technology. Algorithms, social media, and modern entertainment are engineered as reward prediction error machines. Every time you pull down to refresh your feed, you are pulling the lever on a slot machine. Your brain doesn't know if the next post will be boring, funny, or shocking. And that unpredictability. That is exactly what dopamine craves the most. Your brain is flooded with dopamine, anticipating a reward that never truly satisfies you. You aren't addicted to the content. You are addicted to the endless promise that the next swipe will be the one that finally fulfills you. But it never does. The problem isn't that you lack motivation. The problem is that your motivation is being drained by cheap, effortless dopamine. Think of dopamine as currency. Every day you wake up with a certain amount in your neural bank account. If you spend it on high-friction, difficult tasks, like working out, studying, or building a business, the reward comes after the effort. This is how humans evolved. Effort first, reward second. But modern life has flipped the equation. When you wake up and immediately check your phone, you are getting the reward without the effort. You are flooding your brain with cheap dopamine. And researchers discovered something unexpected when you do this. Your brain adapts. It raises the baseline. Once your brain gets used to high levels of effortless dopamine, normal life, like reading a book, having a quiet conversation, or doing deep work, suddenly feels painfully boring. The issue isn't a lack of focus. The issue is that you have chemically trained your brain to reject anything that requires effort. But why are we so vulnerable to this? Because we are ancient hardware running in a modern software environment. For 99% of human history, information, calories, and social connection were incredibly scarce. If you found a source of sugar, your brain screamed, "Consume it all," because you might not eat tomorrow. If you found new information about your tribe, your brain rewarded you because social awareness kept you safe. We are biologically wired to seek out these resources relentlessly. Today, you live in an environment of absolute abundance, but your ancient brain doesn't know that. It still thinks you are fighting for survival. When you doom scroll for hours, you aren't being lazy. You are being perfectly human. You are fulfilling an ancient urge to gather information to feel safe. But instead of feeling safe, you feel numb. Because when we consume endless cheap dopamine, we aren't just wasting time, we are avoiding ourselves. We use constant stimulation to numb the uncomfortable emotions, the anxieties, and the quiet thoughts that surface when we are finally left alone in the silence. To break this trap, you don't need more willpower. You need a structural reset. If you want to reclaim your focus, your drive, and your life, you have to lower your dopamine baseline. You have to make the hard things appealing again. Here is a simple, neuroscience-backed, 3-step reset you can start using today. Step 1. The friction protocol. You cannot rely on willpower to fight a billion-dollar algorithm. Willpower always loses. Instead, introduce friction. If cheap dopamine is effortless, you must make it effortful. Charge your phone in another room. Block distracting sites on your computer. When the automatic reflex to check your phone kicks in, the friction will interrupt the habit loop, giving your conscious brain a split second to step in and say, "No." Step 2. The micro-boredom window. Your brain is terrified of boredom. We must train it to tolerate silence again. Starting tomorrow, find 10 minutes a day to do absolutely nothing. No phone, no music, no podcasts, no books. Just sit, walk, or stare at a wall. At first, your brain will panic. You will feel an intense urge to reach for a distraction. Let the wave of anxiety wash over you. By surviving the boredom, you are physically repairing your dopamine receptors. Step 3. Effort-linked rewards. We need to rewire your brain to associate dopamine with hard work, not passive consumption. Stop rewarding yourself before the work is done. Attach your dopamine to the completion of difficult tasks. The satisfaction of closing your laptop after 3 hours of deep work. The endorphin rush after a grueling run. Shift your brain's diet from cheap instant dopamine to deep, earned dopamine. Every single day there is a war being fought for your attention. Tech companies, advertisers, and algorithms are spending billions of dollars to keep you trapped in a cycle of cheap dopamine. They want you distracted, because a distracted person is compliant. A distracted person doesn't build their own dreams. They just consume the dreams of others. You now know the truth. You know how the trap works, which means you are no longer a victim of it. You have a choice. You can close this video, open another tab, and fall right back into the endless numbing scroll. Or you can put the screen down. You can embrace the friction. You can step into the quiet, uncomfortable space where actual growth happens. The dopamine trap only works if you keep pulling the lever. What happens if you finally let go? If this shifted how you see your own habits, leave a comment below with one cheap dopamine trap you are committing to break today. Putting it in writing is the first step to making it real. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring the hidden psychology behind why we do what we do. I'll see you in the next one. But for now, go do something difficult.